These were my first 3 months of sales when I started selling digital products on Etsy. And if I had to start from zero today, this is the exact 90-day strategy I would follow to hit my first 100 sales. Because just opening an Etsy shop and uploading listings does not mean people are going to buy from you. There's a right way to do this, and this is the way you're going to do it. We're going to break these down into 3 phases: foundation, traction, and momentum. All right, let's start with phase 1, your foundation, days 1 to 30. And I'm gonna say this straight up, the biggest mistake people make is trying to get sales before they've even built a store that can actually convert. So for the first 30 days, your focus is not sales. It's building a shop that's actually set up to get sales. So for days 1 to 3, your focus is setting up your Etsy shop properly. I want you to go ahead and open your shop, fill out all your details, and make sure everything is set up correctly on the back end. I always recommend starting here first because I want to make sure you can actually open an Etsy shop before you put in all the work I'm about to walk you through in the next few days. Once that's done, focus on customizing your storefront. This means creating your logo, your shop banner, and finishing your overall Etsy profile. If you're not sure about branding, you can look at templates on Canva or find inspiration on Pinterest. The goal here is to make your shop look presentable. You can always come back and refine this later, but at the very least, you want your shop to look put together and trustworthy when people start visiting it. So for days 4 to 10, your only focus is researching what products to sell. And if your goal is to get to your first 100 sales as fast as possible, this is exactly what I would do. I would focus on templates that make people money. Because when you do that, you're selling something that feels like an investment, and that completely changes the type of buyer you attract. You are now speaking to people who are already willing to spend money because they expect a return from it. So instead of going on Etsy and looking at everything, search specifically for business-related templates. Things like social media templates, branding kits, website templates, onboarding kits, business forms, anything that helps someone grow or run a business. Now, once you have chosen your product, I want you to study the top performing listings on Etsy. Look at what they are offering and what's included in their product. Because what you are doing here is reverse engineering what is already working. If they are offering 30 pages, you should be around that range too. If they include certain features, you need to make sure you are just as competitive, if not better. Take your time with this phase and get it right because the quality of your research here is going to determine how quickly you get results later. Now, one tool that would save you so much time during this phase is PROFITTREE, especially because once you get into the Etsy world, you'll realize really quickly that most sellers are paying for multiple subscriptions every single month just to get the data they need. One tool for product research, another for tracking profits, another for understanding ads, another for analytics. And it gets expensive fast. What's nice about PROFITTREE is that it basically combines all of those things into one platform. So instead of juggling 5 different tools, you can research profitable product ideas, track your actual profits after Etsy fees and ads, see what products are really driving your sales, and even optimize your Etsy ads all in one place. Just to give you an example, I mentioned earlier that one of the best types of products you can sell are templates that help people make money. And if you actually use PROFITTREE's product finder and search for business templates, you'll immediately start seeing why I keep saying that. You'll literally find products in that niche that have made 6 figures on Etsy alone, and it gives you a much clearer understanding of what's actually performing well in the market right now. Another reason I wanted to mention it here is because they currently have a lifetime access deal for a one-time payment of $67, which is honestly kind of crazy considering most Etsy tools charge you monthly forever. So instead of paying $30, $40, $50 every month across different subscriptions, you basically get access to everything in one place for less than what most people spend in just 1 month on Etsy tools. And they also include a free Etsy Ads Masterclass and a private community, which I think is really helpful, especially if you're still trying to figure things out in the beginning stages. So if you're currently in your research phase and want to make smarter decisions instead of just guessing what to sell, I'll leave the link down below before the $67 lifetime deal disappears and they move fully to a monthly plan. Don't miss it! So for days 11 to 22, your focus is creating your first products. From the research that you did, I want you to choose 2 products. Just 2. For each product, you're going to create 5 different design variations. What this means is you are keeping the same structure in what's included, but changing the design. So for example, if you decided to create a 30-page Airbnb welcome guide, you're going to plan out the full structure first, what goes on each page, what's included, all of that. If you're not sure what to include, you can use tools like ChatGPT to help you map that out. And once you have that structure, you're going to create 5 different versions of that same product. Same content, same structure, but different designs. You can change the colors, fonts, layout, photos, or overall style. This is how you create multiple listings without having to start from scratch every single time. Now let's say your second product is something like Airbnb welcome signs. What you can do is carry over the same design styles across both products. So if you created 5 design styles for your welcome guide, you can apply those same 5 styles to your welcome signs. This way, you're not constantly reinventing new designs. You're creating a consistent set of styles and applying them across different products, which makes the process faster and more efficient. This is how you can realistically build out at least 10 listings in just 12 days. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is the part that will make or break your shop. You cannot just throw something together and expect people to pay for it just because you spent time on it. That's not how this works. Your designs need to look good and feel worth paying for. If you're brand new to design, you can give yourself some grace. If 12 days is not enough time for you to create designs you're proud of, then extend it. This is something that gets better with practice. Remember, the goal here is to create products that are truly competitive in the market. And realistically, that only happens when your designs look good and feel aligned with what people want to buy. So for days 23 to 26, your focus is creating your product photos and video. I always say this, apart from having great templates, you also need strong product photos. People cannot see your full template before purchasing, so your product photos are doing all the selling for you. So this is definitely something you want to spend time on. Going back to the research you did in days 4 to 10, you already studied the top performing listings. This is where you apply that. Look at how those sellers present their product photos and use that as your benchmark. You're not copying, you're understanding how they showcase their product and using that as a guide. Now, Etsy allows up to 20 product photos, and I highly recommend using as many as you can. You also want to include a product video because that's something that can really help you stand out. For your product photos, think about how you can showcase your template in different ways. You can use mock-ups like laptops, phones, or tablets, or show different pages of your design. You can also include slides that highlight what's included and even simple steps on how to edit the template. For your video, you can record yourself customizing the template or show how it works in real time. This helps people visualize what they're getting, which makes them more likely to buy. Now, while you're working on this, don't forget to also create your PDF delivery guide. This is how you'll actually deliver your product to your customer. It's usually a simple 1-page PDF with a button that links to your template so they can easily access what they purchased. Now, I only gave you 4 days for this because you're not actually creating brand new product photos every single time. Once you create the product photos for the first design, you already have the base layout done. From there, you can simply duplicate those layouts and swap in the other design variations. So after the first one, the process becomes much faster. So for days 27 to 28, your focus is your SEO and listing optimization. This is where you're going to create your title, your description, and your tags. Now notice I only give you 2 days for this because personally, I don't like to overthink this part. A lot of people do, but in my experience, what actually drives sales are your designs and your product photos. Your titles and descriptions help you get found, but they are not what ultimately makes someone buy. So yes, this part matters, but it's not where you should be spending most of your time. For your title, go back to the research you did earlier, look at the top performing listings, and pay attention to the keywords that keep showing up. From there, create your own title using those same relevant keywords. For your description, you can use ChatGPT to help you generate an SEO-optimized description. I personally use ChatGPT for my listing descriptions and I still make consistent sales, so it works. You can use a prompt like write an Etsy product description for insert the type of product that is SEO-optimized. Use keywords like insert your keywords. For your tags, you can reuse the main keywords from your title and add a few more relevant ones that make sense for your product. And again, if you're unsure, you can use ChatGPT to help you come up with them. Now, I only gave you 2 days for this because remember, you're only working with 2 main products. All your other listings are just design variations, so you can pretty much reuse the same title, description, and tags across those variations. So for days 29 to 30, this is when you're going to upload your products and actually go live. Realistically, you could probably finish this in a day if you really sit down and focus, because uploading your listings on Etsy is pretty straightforward. You're just going to fill in all the details using what you've already created, your product photos, your video, your PDF delivery, your title, your description, and your tags, and then get everything published. There's even a feature on Etsy where you can duplicate a listing you already created. So since you only have 2 main products with multiple design variations, you're not filling everything out from scratch each time. You can simply copy the original listing and swap out the product photos, video, and PDF to match the new variation. This makes the uploading process much faster. And now your shop is officially open. So now we're moving into phase 2, which is traction. This is where you start focusing on 2 things: getting your product seen and continuing to build out your shop. So for days 31 to 37, your focus is starting your Pinterest marketing. One of the best ways to drive traffic to your shop is through Pinterest, because this is a platform where people are already searching for digital products. So this is exactly where you want your products to be showing up. The first thing you're going to do is open a Pinterest business account and set up your profile. Then you're going to start creating pins. You're going to create vertical pins, and the ideal size for this is 1000 by 1500 pixels. The easiest way to think about this is that your pins are basically your product photos, just in vertical form. So if you can take your existing product photos and reformat them into vertical pins, that will make this process a lot faster. For each product, I want you to create at least 10 pins. And I know that sounds like a lot, but the more pins you create, the more chances you have of your content getting seen and driving traffic to your shop. And remember, you're only working with 2 main products at this point, so you're not starting from scratch every time. You can duplicate your pins and simply swap in your different design variations. When it comes to your pin titles and descriptions, use the same keywords you're already using in your Etsy listings. So for days 38 to 39, your focus is turning on Etsy ads. Now this part is optional but highly recommended. I know not everyone is in a position to spend money on ads, but if you do have the means, even a small budget can make a big difference in getting your listings discovered faster. Because what Etsy ads do is place your listings alongside top performing products on the first few pages. Most buyers are only browsing those first few pages. Very rarely do they go beyond that. So no matter how good your product is, if nobody sees it, it's not going to sell. So your goal is to get your product in front of them. Now you can work your way there organically, but that usually takes time. Etsy ads just help you get there faster. You can start with as little as $1 per day, choose the products that you think are your strongest, and turn ads on for those. It's also pay-per-click, which means you only pay when someone actually clicks on your listing. If no one clicks, you don't spend anything. So again, it's optional, but if you do have the budget, I highly recommend you use it. So for days 40 to 60, you're going to add more listings and repeat the entire process. You're going to go back to your research, find similar types of products, and follow the same system. Once you choose a product, create multiple design variations, upload them to Etsy, do your Pinterest marketing, and then repeat. For the next 20 days, I want you to focus on putting out as many products as you can. Now keep this in mind. Etsy is a numbers game. Most successful shops have hundreds, if not thousands, of listings, and your goal is to get there. Because the more listings you have, the more chances you have to get discovered. It's like creating doors. The more doors you have, the more ways people can walk into your shop. Now, one quick strategy you can use to speed up this process is bundling. Bundling basically means taking multiple products and selling them together as one listing. Now, this works really well with a system you've already created. Remember how you're creating the same design styles across different products? What you can do is take all the products that share the same style and bundle them together. So for example, if you created an Airbnb welcome guide and matching welcome signs in the same design style, you can combine those into one bundle and sell it as a complete package. This is a really easy way to create more listings without having to design something completely new. So now we're moving into phase 3, which is momentum. This is where you start gathering data from your shop and using that to make better decisions. At this point, you're no longer guessing. You're creating based on what's already working. So for days 61 to 62, your focus is identifying your winning products. I want you to go into your Etsy dashboard and look at 2 things. First, go to your orders. If you've been following this process, there's a good chance you've already made some sales. Look at those orders and see if there are specific products that are selling more than others. Now, if you don't have sales yet, that's okay. Go to your stats and look at your shop traffic. Scroll down and check which listings are getting the most views or favorites. That still tells you a lot. What you're looking for here are patterns. Your winning products products are the ones that are getting attention, whether that's through sales, views, or engagement. And once you've identified those products, I want you to study why it's performing well. Is it the type of product? Is it the design style? Is it what's included in the product? Try to understand what's actually making that listing stand out. Now for days 63 to 85, you're going to double down on your winners. And what that means is you're going to create more of what's already working. If you think a product is performing well because of the product type, create more products in that category. If you think it's the design style, create more designs that follow that same style. Yes, you are still creating more products in this phase, but the difference now is that you're not guessing anymore. You're creating based on data. You're building on products that you already know have potential, which makes this process much more efficient. So for days 86 to 90, your focus is optimizing your shop. Now, what do I mean by that? At this point, you've already gathered data and identified what's working. So now you're going to go back into your shop and improve things based on that data. You can start with your branding. If you have time, you can go back and refine your logo or your shop banner. For your banner, you can even display your best performing products so that when someone clicks on your shop, they immediately see those. You can also optimize your listings. This includes your titles, descriptions, and tags. If you go to your stats, then shop traffic, and click on how shoppers found you, you can go see the exact search terms people are using to find your listings. That data is really valuable because you can take those keywords and start incorporating them everywhere. You can improve your product photos as well. If you feel like a listing could perform better visually, you can update your photos to make them more appealing. You can also test your pricing. If you think adjusting your price could improve conversions, this is the time to experiment with that. And the same goes for your Pinterest marketing. Once you start seeing which pins are driving traffic to your shop, you can create more pins in that same style because you already know that approach works. So what you're doing in this phase is refining your shop based on real data. If you actually take the time to follow this and execute on each phase, you're going to be so far ahead of most people who are just guessing their way through Etsy. Because the truth is, it's not that people can't make money on Etsy. It's that they don't have a clear plan to follow. But now you do. So take this seriously, stay consistent, and see where this can take you. And if you're really serious about starting an Etsy shop and want to skip a lot of the guesswork, definitely check out PROFITTREE while the lifetime deal is still available. One-time payment of $67 and you've got yourself a product research tool for life. I'll leave the link down below for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!